Doom Eternal brought back quite a few old school game mechanics, with the most known example being extra lives. As most of us probably know already, Wolfenstein 3D had extra lives, and if you lost them all, you had to start again from the episode, but that feature was pointless when players could just save their game. Extra lives in Wolfenstein were either found in secret areas or earned if you got a certain number of points, and Doom Eternal revived the extra life system. Doom Eternal is an arcadey shooter, but even so, the game doesn't have points and extra lives are scattered around the level. I find the extra life system in Doom Eternal to be a lot of fun, and it harkens back to the old school approach of designing games. However, there is one retro video game feature that will probably never come back in Doom, and that is secret levels. In Wolfenstein, there was a hidden switch located in each episode that if you activated it, you would head to a secret level. Most of these were just more challenging stages than the rest of the campaign levels, but there were also novelty secret maps. The Pac-Man Ghost level in Wolfenstein 3D is the first example of id Software toying around with what secret levels can be in an FPS game. From Wolfenstein to Doom, there were 3 secret levels in the original full release of Doom, and each of them are different from one another. E1M9 Military Base basically functioned as a normal level, and I'm not entirely sure why it was a secret level to begin with. E2M9 Fortress of Mystery is an experimental secret map, designed by Sandy Peterson, and it was the first level to intentionally utilize Doom's infighting mechanic. I'm not a huge fan of Fortress of Mystery, and I don't think it offers much value nowadays, but I can understand its importance, and Sandy Peterson was a true innovator in terms of Doom level design. With Fortress of Mystery being very experimental, it altered what secret levels can be once again. E3M9 Warrens was another secret level designed by Sandy Peterson, and this plays with the audience's expectations and acted as a remix of E3M1. It was a gimmick map, and it's a lot of fun, and if we move on to Doom 2 with the Wolfenstein maps, we now see secret levels being self-referential. Commander Keen was included at the end of Map32, and the Dopefish character has shown up in several id Software games after that. Wolfenstein, Doom, and Quake all had secret levels, and they all tried to do different things, and they fell under different categories. Some secret levels were gimmicky, some were trying to pay homage to other games, and some were just fun levels that id wanted to have hidden away for some reason. After Doom was released, it seemed like every 90s FPS afterwards had secret levels. They were commonplace in first-person shooters at the time, and I'm not sure why if I'm honest, but I appreciate them regardless. They were charming little inclusions, and it gave these games even more personality than they already had. If we move on to Doom 2016, there wasn't any secret levels to find. The closest we got were classic maps that we could unlock and then access in the menus. They only added a handful of levels from Doom 1 and 2, but it's better than nothing, I suppose. I assume these classic maps were made to recapture the feeling of old school secret levels without having to waste much time on creating brand new levels from the ground up. In the 90s, there were only 1 or 2 map designers working on a level. id Software didn't have to dedicate a lot of manpower or resources to create one level back then, as it was usually just one man with the game editor. With AAA development nowadays, there are people working on all of these different aspects of the game, and I doubt that they would want to spend the time designing original secret levels for so little gain. Secret levels are a thing of the past, and that's because of the increased amount of talent and time dedicated to each level. For example, the Plutonia experiment was created in only a few months by the Casali brothers, and that had 32 levels packed in. Compare this with Doom 2016, where there are entire teams dedicated only to the lighting in a level, let alone the map's design. If they did make original secret levels, it would just take up too much time, and it's not worth it. There isn't a guarantee that every player would access the secret levels. And with that said, having little collectibles and classic maps scratched the itch in Doom 2016 for those explorers. In Doom Eternal, the collectibles are even more prominent, but unfortunately there are no bonus classic levels anymore. This makes sense, considering that Doom 2016's classic maps played terribly with the new engine and game mechanics. As much as I would love to see secret levels return, it isn't a viable option for id Software, and admittedly, it is a niche request. There have been comments on my videos recently asking for Doom Eternal to bring back proper secret levels of old, but they unfortunately can't because of how modern game development works. Also, let's say that they did add secret levels in Doom Eternal. What would they actually be? I have no idea, and that's another part of the problem. Maybe they can recreate classic Doom maps, but from the ground up. I'm not sure, but I feel like secret levels are best left in the past. I don't really understand the point of them in classic Doom games, let alone the newer ones, since they kept changing and changing throughout the years. Why was Military Base included as a secret level, for example? It's a great map, don't get me wrong, but does it really scream secret map to you? I don't believe so, and while the Wolfenstein Doom 2 levels fall more in line to what immediately comes to mind when I think secret level, how many times can they keep recycling that gimmick until it gets old? I like the idea of secret maps, and almost every 90s first-person shooter had them for some reason, but I don't think they work in today's gaming landscape. There's too much effort that goes into level design now, and too little time to make secret maps in Doom Eternal. I would prefer id Software to focus their time on making DLC rather than secret levels, and I think anyone would. While Doom Eternal captures the essence of classic Doom pretty well, I don't think everything from those games need to be included. Doom 2016 struck a pretty good balance of having secret levels that didn't take up too many resources to develop, but those kinda sucked and didn't play too well. Secret levels in classic Doom were meant to be once-in-a-lifetime maps, where you would see situations that normally wouldn't happen in the regular game, and I don't see how this would apply to Doom Eternal. In fact, that description of secret levels kinda falls on its head when you get up to Doom 2, and how that game has a fucking cyber demon fighting a spider mastermind, so I guess that's why they needed to increase the gimmick factor with the Wolfenstein secret levels. Who knows? Extra lives are a staple of old school gaming, but they also made sense to bring back for Doom Eternal because of the structure of the arena combats. Sometimes combat encounters go for longer and are more intense compared to Doom 2016, and id Software wanted players to have a second wind so that they can get another chance without resetting from a checkpoint, so extra lives were brought in. This decision made sense because the game needed it, but the same can't be said for secret levels. What do you think about classic Doom's secret maps? And if you had to, how would you incorporate them into Doom Eternal or any future Doom title? I'd love to hear your thoughts, and while I personally think they have reached their end, I am still interested on how you would potentially make them return. Thanks for watching.